You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad?
Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Kela Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, and mental health. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. Okay, so in today's video, I wanted to discuss 5 different habits, bad habits that I think it's important to break. A lot of us are still in quarantine, or at least should be in quarantine because of what's going on in the world. And honestly, we have more time on our hands now than we probably ever have had before and probably ever will. So wanted to discuss some habits that we should work on breaking just to make our lives more fulfilling and productive. So if you're interested in hearing my take, go on ahead and stay tuned. All right, so the first bad habit that we need to break is negative self-talk. So what I mean by that is just speaking about yourself in a negative way, saying things like, I've gained too much weight, I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny, I'm not pretty enough, I don't know, I'm not where I need to be in life. Stop saying things like that to yourself because it really does have an effect on your mental health. Now, the truth is, there's going to be things about yourself that you want to change like all the time. You should be wanting to change. Like, you shouldn't want to stay in the same spot in life. You should be wanting to grow, but there's no need to speak to yourself negatively. I'm gonna go ahead and just use myself for example. I have been in situations before, not really recently, but just like when I was approaching 30, I felt like I wasn't in the career that I should be in, and I felt like I kept switching industries and I really need to just figure things out. Whereas when I was younger, I thought that my life was gonna look a certain way. And so I used to get in my feelings a lot and just kind of just negatively talk about where I was and where I wasn't. And instead of doing that, it probably would have helped me mentally just to kind of accept where I am, accept that like reality is gonna take its course. Things, you can plan for whatever you want, but it doesn't always mean that things are gonna go the way they should. And just because you feel you should look a certain way at a certain age doesn't mean that things will actually work out that way. And so basically what I had to learn to do was just give myself more grace and understand that it just simply wasn't my season to be in whatever career it was that I wanted. It's not even like I was doing bad. I just wasn't giving myself enough credit. So instead of talking to yourself negatively, like talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend or family member that's going through something. Like, you wouldn't be mean to them and you wouldn't tell them that they're not where they're supposed to be or that they're behind in life. So don't talk to yourself that way. Just remember that the things that you say can have a lot of different effects. And even if it's not true, the mind sometimes thinks that these things are true, especially if that's all you hear. All right, so the second bad habit that it is important to break is procrastinating. Now, when I'm making these videos, a lot of times I am talking to myself as well as talking to you guys. So just understand that I've been through all of these things and I know from personal experience. But as far as procrastinating, I have always been a procrastinator. Not because I wanted to be a procrastinator, but things that stress me out or just tasks that I don't feel like doing, I typically put on the back burner. And I know I'm not the only one that does that. Now, the times when I've taken those tasks that are necessary, but maybe not something that I want to do, the times when I've just gotten those things out of the way, like first thing in the morning, or just as soon as I could possibly get to it, the stress went away. Like, I felt so much better because it's like, okay, yes, that task was grueling or it was something I didn't want to do, but you know what? It's out of the way. It's done. I don't have to worry about it until, it comes around again or whatever. And I think that when you think about things that way, it makes you want to just get it out of the way quicker. So my suggestion to you is to think about the things that you have to do, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, whether it be in your relationship, whatever. Think about the things you have to do and try to take care of the difficult things first. Don't put them off to the last minute, because a lot of times that putting things off to the last minute, especially big projects and stuff, that can create unnecessary stress and put you under unnecessary pressure. So just go on ahead, tackle those things. A lot of times it's not even as bad as we think it is. It's more in the mind. So if you just kind of make it a point to get rid of those tasks right away, you don't have to worry about procrastinating being an issue, and you can just kind of live your life as stress-free as possible. Okay, so the third bad habit that we need to break is saying yes to things that we want to say no to. It sounds simple, but it's not always simple, especially when you are a people pleaser or you just simply don't want people thinking that you are a party pooper, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna go on ahead and use myself as an example again because, like I told y'all, I've gone through all this. So I would say before I got into my current relationship, this was like late 20s. I was single, but I was working a lot. And I was past the point where I wanted to go out every weekend or, during the week. I was at a point where I had done all that in my early 20s. And a lot of times I just wanted to come home, relax, have a glass of wine and just not do anything until I had to. So I had a couple of friends around that time that just weren't in that same place in their life. And I used to get guilted into going out to different events that I did not want to go to. Now, it wasn't just with friends, like it would happen with work events and stuff like that too, but it really happened with the friends that I had. They were still in a phase where they wanted to go to the club or they wanted to go to a party or, out to dinner and stuff, which I was okay with here and there, but it was just way too much for my liking. And what ended up happening is I would say yes to things that I didn't want to go to, and then by the time I get there, I'm tired. I am kicking myself for not just saying no. I'm saying to myself, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm just going to say no, and I would still get talked into going out. I think part of that was, again, just these are my friends, so I don't want to disappoint. I, want to be around. I want to have fun with everyone, but I was neglecting my own needs. So a lot of times I became resentful. And it got to a point where I just had to just start saying no. It's like, if you are truly my friend and you understand my situation, then I'm just not there. Like, I'll go out here and there, but I don't want to come out every weekend. So with me doing that, it just made me way more happier. And I felt like I was standing up for myself. So I guess in closing on this, like, stop saying yes to everything. Like, sometimes being busy and being out all the time is not what you want to be. Like, it's okay to stay home. It's okay to just do your own thing. And don't let people guilt you into coming out and doing things that you don't want to do just because you don't have any plans. Like, not having plans doesn't mean that you want to fill that space with activities. Sometimes it means that you just don't have any plans and you just want to sit there and look at the wall. And that's okay. Okay, so the fourth bad habit that we need to break is accepting disrespect from others. Now, I'm not saying that we're pushovers or anything, but for the most part, we don't like confrontation, right? Now, this is just the norm. It's normal not to want to have issues with the people in your life that you're close to have issues with managers, to have issues with whoever that is in your, in your space that you have to see all the time. But I think that a lot of times, at least in my experience, like with the people that I know, with myself included, there are things that we let slide. This is a big thing for women too. We will be disrespected, or, something will happen and it's almost like people testing us, and people will treat you how you allow them to treat you, right? So I guess my point is, when somebody does something disrespectful, like if it strikes a nerve and you feel like it's disrespect, I would say take a step back, like really kind of evaluate it, look at the full picture before you jump down their throat, and then just like address it head on. You do not want to like create an environment where people think that it's okay to treat you bad. You need to stand up for yourself. And I know that just in my personal life, there were a lot of situations that I didn't have to be in, a lot of things that I could have addressed when I saw the first sign of disrespect that would have prevented things like that ended up happening in the future. You know what I'm saying? So that one honestly is pretty cut and dry. Just don't allow people to disrespect you. There are tactful ways that you can pull somebody aside, or, reach out to them and just tell them, hey, I didn't like what you did, or whatever the case may be. And obviously in extreme scenarios, then you may have to distance yourself. Now, I do a lot of videos on mental health and just protecting your energy, protecting your mental health. So I'm big on, if someone refuses to treat you with respect, or if somebody is like a serial offender. This goes for a boss, this goes for a family member, a spouse, like whatever. If somebody is constantly mistreating you, making you feel less than, then you need to distance yourself. Like, just don't allow yourself to be put in situations that you don't want to be put in. You don't be disrespectful either though. This is for you too. But in the context that I'm, discussing this, I'm talking about others. So just make sure that the people that you're dealing with respect your boundaries. All right, so the final bad habit that we need to break is gossiping about others. Now, this sounds obvious. I really feel like it sounds obvious, but it's not obvious to a lot of people. So I think that we've all been in situations where we've caught ourselves probably talking about somebody or just tearing somebody down where they're not around. And like, what did it really get you? Like, did you feel better after you did it? Did you make more money? Did it make you prettier? Probably not. So like, why are we doing it? You know, I think that like, just as I've gotten older, I noticed that when we are like putting somebody down, we're tearing somebody down, a lot of times we see something in them that we see in ourselves, and we're tearing that down. Like, happy people and people that have a mission, people that are on, you know, a journey to success, don't have time to gossip about others. So if you find yourself gossiping about others, then maybe you need to take a step back, look within, and figure out what's going on. Now, it's inevitable that there are going to be people that do things that we don't like. There are going to be people that do stupid stuff. You know, it's going to happen. My thing is, like, for example, with friends, I look at people sideways. Like, if they are gossiping to me about like a friend of theirs or whatever, I feel like that energy could be better used to tell said friend whatever you're feeling, obviously within reason. Let's not be disrespectful, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's doing something that you don't agree with or whatever, try talking to that person if they are in fact a friend or somebody that you're close to, as opposed to gossiping about them to others. There is this saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it essentially says to fix, like, offer to fix her crown as opposed to telling everyone that it's crooked. And that's basically what that means. Like, don't go spreading, you know, rumors or just bad information about somebody. Like, try to help them be better as opposed to being judgmental, because you want the same grace being given to you. Like, what if you're doing something and your friend or whoever is gossiping about you as opposed to helping you and trying to make you be better? So yeah, let's just stop gossiping about people. You know, I see it a lot on the internet. I see it a lot, I mean, just with certain relationships. Let's just be nice to one another. No need to gossip. Alright guys, so that is all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed, please go on ahead and give me a big fat thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have not already subscribed, go on ahead and click that button below, and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. With that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
It's super. They turned your back. It's like I never knew you. Leave that, leave that, leave that. In the past, leave that, leave that, leave that broke up in